Hello. For those of you new to the natural gas business, this presentation should give you some basic information about natural gas and natural gas terminology. So what are the topics we are going to cover? What is natural gas? Some of the terminology that the industry uses, and also a little bit about the supply chain from wellhead to burner tip. So, what is natural gas? Well, it's a fossil fuel that was formed deep beneath the earth millions of years ago. Most of the gas wells that are drilled today are in excess of a mile deep. It's a colorless and odorless gas. As a matter of fact, the utility actually adds the smell to it with a chemical called mercaptan. It's primarily methane. It's a hydrocarbon, CH4. It's often 80 to 90% methane, usually closer to 90%. It has a specific gravity of 0.6, meaning that it's 6/10 the weight of air. So if natural gas does happen to leak, it rises up into the atmosphere and dissipates. Conversely, propane is heavier than air. It has a specific gravity of 1.5. So if it leaks, it tends to sink and collect in low spots. So some measurement terminology. The gas meter that's outside your building, it simply measures the volume of gas flowing through that meter. So it measures it in cubic feet, and then the utility ultimately adds a BTU factor to it later to sell the gas to you in terms of the energy content. So what is a BTU? A BTU is a British thermal unit. It's the amount of energy to raise 1 pound of water 1 degree Fahrenheit. And to give you a sense of BTU values, your typical home furnace might use on the order of 80,000 to 125,000 BTUs per hour. Your water heater might be in the range of 40 to 50,000 BTUs per hour. Your gas grill is probably about 10,000 BTUs for each burner, so a 4-burner grill would be about 40,000 BTUs an hour. A cubic foot of gas contains approximately 1,000 BTUs. It's usually plus or minus 5%, but for speaking purposes, we usually think in terms of 1,000 BTUs per cubic foot. And a therm is 100,000 BTUs. A decatherm is 10 of those. It's 1,000,000 BTUs, also abbreviated MMBTU. And in the residential market on your bill, you'll see that it's sold to you in therms or CCFs, which is 100 cubic feet. And in the large volume market, in the markets we sell in, it's usually sold in decatherms or MMBTUs, millions of BTUs. So a summary of the common measurement terms. 1 therm is 100,000 BTUs. A decatherm is 10 therms or 1,000,000 BTUs. An MCF is 1,000 cubic feet. And an MCF is approximately 1,000,000 BTUs. That goes back to that assumption that there's 1,000 BTUs in each cubic foot. A CCF is a term for 100 cubic feet, or approximately 1 therm. And then when we start talking about the national gas market, we start talking in terms of billions of cubic feet, BCFs, or trillions of cubic feet, TCF. The national market is on the order of 30 TCF a year, or about 90 BCF per day. So in terms of the physical supply chain, this is a little busy, but I'll break it down from left to right, from wellhead to burner tip. Essentially on the left here you have the production. That's where the gas wells are. They pull the gas up, they separate it, separate all the undesirable liquids and heavier hydrocarbons from that gas. Ultimately makes its way into the interstate transmission pipeline system, goes cross country from state to state, eventually to your utility and into the distribution system, and then onto your meter. So you can think of it in terms of 3 segments, 3 distinct segments. You've got production, transmission, and distribution. And then just to show those further, the production, that's the segment where the gas is produced and moved to the transmission lines. The transmission lines, those are the high pressure pipelines that go interstate, and they're usually between 400 and 1,400 pounds per square inch. And they have diameters anywhere from 2 inches to 48 inches. And it's a carbon steel pipe, most often. Distribution system, that's the network of piping that's in your town that your utility has. So the transmission system feeds into the distribution system, ultimately to your meter. LDC is a term that we use. That's a term for your local gas utility. It means local distribution company, LDC. So your utility is an LDC. The city gate or town border station, that's the physical facility that's usually out on the edge of town, and that's the demarcation between the interstate transmission pipeline and the utility. That's where the gas is measured and sold from the interstate pipeline to the utility. And then finally, a service line, that's the line that runs from the gas main out, buried out in the street. You have the service line that runs underground from the main to your building and to your meter. And a couple facts about natural gas nationally. How much gas does a typical residential customer use? Usually between 60 and 100 MMBTUs or decatherms per year in this part of the country. Many customers that Encore serves actually use thousands of decatherms or millions of BTUs per day. And how much pipe is in the ground? The natural gas industry operates an extensive system of about 2.6 million miles of distribution and transmission pipelines that stretch across the country and provide service to more than 70 million customers. So hopefully that provides you some basic information about natural gas, and if you have any questions, you can certainly call Encore Energy. Thank you.